Hello everyone, this is Genius Yoshi and today we are playing everyone's favorite Evildoer, Chernabog. Not sure where he came from, not sure I heard of it before it got spoiled for Into the Inklands, but his ability is really cool. He's a 9/9 questing for 3, costing way too much at 10, but for every character in your discard pile you pay 1 less. And when you play it, you shuffle all your characters in discard into your deck. Alright, so we'll be playing 4 copies of Chernabog. And what's our goal? Fill our discard with characters. And I love this style of decks because they force you to have a different play style and play some cards that you don't typically play that much. Alright, so how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to be doing this thanks to a lot of draw discard abilities. We have Cinderella, Knight in Training, that has this nice ability. When you play her, draw a card, discard a card. We want our deck to be mostly filled with characters. And there's another character that has the ability, which is Simba, Future King. Just draw, discard, draw, discard. And that's how we're going to be filling our graveyard while cycling our cards to the Chernabogs. Alright, what else can we do? Well, we can do more of the same effect with questing abilities. Huntsman has the ability on quest. So whenever you quest with a Huntsman, draw a discard. And we also have everyone's favorite giant fairy, Tinkerbell, the tiny tactician. Wait, that's not the big tink. No, but the small one has the ability to draw and discard. So now we have 4 characters that allow us to draw a card, discard a card. Which goes very well with the Chernabog ability. But we also got another payoff. So a lot of times when you're playing these types of synergistic strategies, it's useful to have more than one payoff for that ability. Otherwise, if we don't draw our Chernabogs, well, we're just drawing and discarding for no good reason and wasting a bit of cards. Helps us dig for Chernabog, which is good. But we also have Sheriff of Nottingham. Whenever you discard a card, ping something for 1. And the sheriff's in town because we've got a lot of draws and discards. And so the sheriff can ping a little bit like what we had with Chief Bogo, except it's not a board-wide type of ping, so it's not as good. But it's still, it's spammable. Speaking of spammable, what happens if we discard more cards? Oh, now things get interesting. What about Whole New World? One of the best draw engines in the game, one of the best discard engines in the game. Fits right in. Whole New World our hand, go and draw some cards. Okay. So now we have some starter characters, some payoffs, and a nice draw spell. Well, we're also playing Tinkerbell and Cinderella. We're looking for characters, we're looking for inkable characters. So we're going to be playing the big versions. Tinkerbell Giant Fairy fits right in. So does Cinderella Stouthearted. Okay, but what next, Genius Yoshi? Well, we have some nice top end. We have a couple of cheap characters. We want to draw a bit more cards. Because when we're drawing and discarding and drawing and discarding, playing a card like Simba empties your hand pretty fast. And shifting characters does too. So if we could have access to something else that allows us to draw cards, it'd be great. And that something else is going to be Stitch Rockstar. Again, we're looking in the form of a character or draw spell. We could also go with Beast Tragic Hero. But I'm more interested in playing Stitch Rockstar in this particular list, because I do want to play these small characters anyway. I want to play the Simba. I want to play the Cinderella into the mid to late game. And not just ink them at that point and play the bigger versions. So since I want to play them to get the draw discard, well, if I can get an extra card out of it, seems like a good trade to me. So if we're going to be playing Stitch, we're going to be playing Stitches. With a full playset of the new dog coming in. I'll also be playing 4 copies of Pluto to try and accelerate our strategy. Pluto's very strong on the play. If we can accelerate a Sheriff of Nottingham or Tinkerbell or some shifted character, then Pluto can have a high impact. If Pluto gets sent to the discard pile, where he's feeding her Chernabog, which isn't the worst thing. So now we have 3 1-drops, pair of 2-drops. It's pretty good. Good enough for our Stitch Rockstar. Now, if we're going to go with a go wide style strategy with this, go wide or go big with the Chernabog, Bare Necessities seems like a nice inclusion. It's an inkable song that allows us to pick off annoying answers from our opponent's hand. It's going to be our only other non-character card in the deck. So we have 4 copies of Whole New World, 4 copies of the Bare Necessities. Card draw, pingings with Nottingham, and just take out pesky little answers our opponent might have. Now we're looking for a bit of filler. Pair of Benja, Guardian of the Dragon Gem, is a nice option to remove items. Also, a 2-quester, a character in that 3 spot where we were kind of low. And we're all a little low on our 4-drops. So Rapunzel, gifted with healing. More card draw. And just fantastic card. I mean, I'm still going to be playing these big bad cards like Rapunzel and Tinkerbell. They're very strong cards, and that hasn't changed. We've gotten other strong cards, not necessarily stronger per se. So now we have a fairly well-rounded list. We do have some shifting targets, and we're playing a few weaker characters. So for fun, since we're already playing 4 copies of Pluto, I'd like to be playing a pair of Determined Defenders. Pluto the 3/8, shifting bodyguard that self-heals. Feels like a nice inclusion with a couple of copies in our deck. And there we have it. Chernabog, Sheriff of Nottingham, discard, self-discard madness deck. And all that remains is to see the deck in action with some gains. We are playing against Ruby Amethyst. We find Stitch, Simba, A Whole New World, Tinkerbell, Huntsman, Pluto, and another copy of Whole New World. Feels like a decent hand. We're going to throw away A Whole New World. Plan to just rush into it using Pluto. So let's start by inking a Tinkerbell, letting Pluto. And we'll pass with that. The little puppy that keeps on giving some ink. Ah, and there's a Minnie Mouse. That's the problem with Pluto. Minnie Mouse, and he's countered. Huntsman's also looking a little silly now. So I'll use Cinderella, draw a big Cinderella. I'll throw away a Stitch. And we'll pass the turn. We can still use Pluto to shift our Cinderella a little earlier. Kind of like a bad Lantern, really. I'm starting to prefer Lantern. Except Pluto's a character, so Pluto's going to enable our Chernabog more handsomely. Ooh, big Pluto. It's also another interesting one. Feel that we need to ink it. Are we playing against Ruby Amethyst? Yeah, there's a lot of removal there. Send our Huntsman away. Turn 3, Simba. Draw 1. Discard our big Cinderella. Pretty much telegraphing that we have the other one in hand. But that's alright. We gotta do what we gotta do when we're facing a Madman Snake. Teeth and Ambition is going to get rid of Cinderella. Opponent senses that her big Cinderella was coming and decides, nope, we'll have none of that. Second heat and ambition to take out our Pluto too. That's a lot of teeth and ambition. Alright, well, in that case, we're going to play Simba. Draw and discard that Pluto. Incur Big Cinderella, since we no longer have hope of playing her. I might as well quest. Questing for 1. At this point, maybe just whole new world into a potentially really cheap Chernabog. Opponent plays the RSS Legacy. RSL. I can't see them from the companion app, so let's look at it from here. Characters gain evasive there and discount for moving characters to it. Alright. Gonna Inker Benja. And with 5, I think we just land a whole new world. Board is similar. And we don't find a Chernabog. I'm disappointed. I'll start attacking that RSL Legacy. There's an argument for just questing instead and ignoring it completely. Maui comes in and bullies our Lion King. Alright. Find Bare Necessities, but our opponent's hand is plentiful. So now's not the time to play it. Gonna ink Tinkerbell. We don't have that many good draw discard spells with this hand. I do like the idea of a Sheriff of Nottingham, but I don't have a good follow-up here. So let's land Tinkerbell. Then I'll pass the turn. I don't want to put Simba vulnerable and let our opponent lead each remain us. Dragonfire. I haven't seen that in a while. Makes quick work of our Tinkerbell. Opponent eats an ambition again. Opponent doesn't like our Lion Kings. We find a 1-costed Chernabog. Alright. Well, if that's our option, then we're gonna cast our Bare Necessities. Opponent has no target, but at least we know that the coast is clear for Chernabog. And we'll also take the opportunity to land a Sheriff of Nottingham. We'll pass the turn back. Would have been such a good turn if we would have had a hit with the Bare Necessities. And of course now the opponent draws a hit for the Bare Necessities, lands an Arthur. And Madam and Fox comes in to save a quite beat up Maui. Alright, well, if that's how you want to play it, it's time to take care of that RSL Legacy. Chernabog for the win. Well, not the win per se, but for a lot of damage. And we can play Bodyguard Pluto as a bodyguard. And now that we have 3/8 protecting our board, I mean, Maui coming in is going to ping it. Maui min. Opponent can't double Maui. So I think we have a nice quest with Sheriff. Maui, the weakness of our Pluto. But we do take a hit from both characters. And Arthur comes in, brings back Maui to a safe place, namely the ink pile, apparently, when Minnie Mouse Stylish Surfer comes in. Alright. We're gonna land our Floodborn Tinkerbell. Let the Sheriff take out Arthur. Yeah, it's gonna take a beating from that Maui next turn. But we gotta do what we gotta do. We'll land Pluto. Maui comes in. Takes out the Sheriff. If you're asking who shot the Sheriff, it's the hero to all. We're gonna sacrifice our Tinkerbell to take out our opponent's board. Pinging off the Stylish Surfer. And then we can land Huntsman Tinkerbell. Start questing with our evil demon. 3 at a time. Our clock is pretty fast. As long as the opponent doesn't find a Be Prepared. Maui goes in. Too small, Maui. Too small. But we can make use of that damage. Draw a few cards. And we'll keep the rest of our cards for pressure. And the opponent resigns in the face of imminent doom. How do you beat Maui? Just play a 9/9 for 1. I mean, simple, right? We're playing against Amethyst Sapphire. Using our Chernabog deck. Find way too many Plutos in this hand. Let me keep one. Maybe go Pluto Sheriff. Going second. Find a second Chernabog. 2 Chernabogs are too many Chernabogs. But we can discard one. Defeat the other. Find another Sheriff of Nottingham. Which puts us a little light on inkables. It's okay, we've got Pluto. What could go wrong? What could go wrong is I'm probably going to have to play that Simba to improve my hand. Find Stitch Rockstar. Not the best, but it's something that we can ink. So off you go. Triple Nottingham. Can we find enough inkables? If we can, it's going to be a funny game. So we're playing a lot of draw discard type spells. Their opponent looks to be ramping like crazy. Bare Necessities. We'll get inked. Alright. Activate ability. Play Sheriff of Nottingham #1. Actually, I don't need that Simba. I'd rather have it in the discard pile. So, time to quest. Pass the turn. Turn 4 Sheriff, turn 5 Sheriff. That's the way to do it, right? Then we need some Simbas and some cheap Cinderellas. Opponent trades Grammatala. Get her into the ink. And Olaf. We'll take a ping of damage. Ooh, Madam Fox. Goes in, brings back that Olaf, and takes out our puppy. Which brings us to 3 characters in the discard. So start getting towards Chernabog. We find ourselves a Tinkerbell. That's funny. Let's ink that Rapunzel. Play Sheriff number 2. Do we do it in time? I don't think we do, but with Tinkerbell, we can do that every turn. Draw 1, discard 1, and ping a lot. Problem is we need to keep them all alive. Peter Pan. Peter Pan comes in for our opponent. We find a whole new world. I think we just land Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell's a high valued target now. Our opponent's just so high on the inking. Too high on the lore. Up to 13. No removal. Come on, no removal. Let it go on Tinkerbell? That would be bad. Opponent doesn't play anything. Oh, I have to do it, right? Have to go Nottingham number 3. Activate Tinkerbell. Draw 1. Discard Cinderella. Feed Chernabog. And we get the triple ping off of the sheriffs. So Sheriff will ping. Oh, that's 2-4. Yeah, I can double fight Winnie. Maybe I just take out Min. Yeah, let's just take out Madam Min. Triple pings off of the Tinkerbell to take out Madam Min Fox. Double combat to take out Winnie the Pooh. And I guess we ink Bare Necessities. That's cool. I'm going to say, I don't care if I win or lose. Triple Sheriff triggers. I do care a little bit. As any player should. I mean, we're playing to win here. Fully expecting another Madam Min to come in. Zeus Lightning. Alright. Zeus will take out one of our sheriffs. Bring us closer to Chernabog. Now we've lost a little bit of our ability to ping. And Min Fox is going to save that Zeus. And we find another sheriff. That is hilarious. And do we play the sheriff? Actually, we're in a fine place to just try to ping our opponent into oblivion. No, although Zeus is going to take out Tinkerbell. But do I go sheriff, take out Tinkerbell? Take out Pan's Shadow? Seems good. Seems good. Tinkerbell trigger. Pick up and discard instantly that whole new world. Ping, ping, Pan. And Olaf can live. Never thought this Tinkerbell would be the one doing so much work. Okay, it's the sheriffs. It's who shot the sheriff. The sheriff shot our opponent's characters using ping pangs. And what are they holding? Gold that's slipping through. Let's see what we find as part of our top deck. Find a whole new world. Could a whole new world ping everything for 6? Which honestly would be pretty good, right? So you can take out Zeus, take out Olaf, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But Chernabog. Although we can get a cheaper Chernabog. Here we go. Whole new world. Hard cast. We're discarding and blowing stuff up. So 1 to Olaf. 3 to Min. 2 to Mickey. Because why not? And we find Simba. And 3 Tinkerbells. Let's ink our Stitch Rockstar. And land ourselves a Simba. Draw 1, discarding Stitch. We get a triple ping again. Mickey, Olaf, Olaf. And let's see if you have another haste character. Probably does. How many haste characters can our opponent have? I don't want to get double Zeused. Clockwork? That's a problem. That is such a shame. Completely nullifies most of our game plan now. I'm so disappointed. Clockwork Merlin. Alright, well. All our characters have resist 1, so we're going to be pinging a whole lot of nothing. Opponent can quest for 3 next turn. Do we have other removal in our deck? I don't think so. Hilarious game. Find a Cinderella. I just don't think we have much else we can play. Cinderella. Find a Stitch. Don't want Stitch. Yes, I know. Ping the bunny for nothing. Go to 5. Go Tinkerbell, Huntsman. I'll do what we can. Just play a whole bunch of characters. And quest. Grandfather Clock looking so smug. It's like, yes, I've paid my due. I'm retired, Sheriff of Nottingham. You can't ask for taxes from retired Cogsworth. Although retired people still have to pay taxes. But that's besides the point. He's probably rich enough he can afford the taxes. No problem. That's why it's Cogsworth. Cogsworth a lot. Opponent goes for a Menemin Fox. Would resist a Pinocchio that's going to exert my Cinderella. Opponent really wanted to take out that Cinderella. But if that Cogsworth, there's the quest. There's not much I can do, really. I would need to top deck Tinkerbell. Top deck, be prepared. Top deck, be prepared. Not playing Ruby, not playing Be Prepared, but top deck, be prepared. Or something that... What's the removal spell that targets ready warded characters again? Oh yes, nothing. That's the one I'm looking for. Oh, draw one. Rockstar going to discard. Still gonna ping your stuff because we can. Huntsman, more pinging triggers. Again, because we can. And we'll land a hero Pluto. Bodyguard, all our puny characters that can't ping our opponents because of that resistance. As the opponent gets to close out the game. It's a shame that the opponent had that Cogsworth, because we got the triple sheriff. Triple sheriff got us a success with a whole new world, with a Tinkerbell that pulled more than her weight, but it just wasn't enough. We are playing an Amber Steel mirror match, except we're playing the Chernabog. So let's see who's going to win it. We have Pluto. And Pluto into double Cinderella with Bare Necessities and a whole new world. Seems like a very, very good hand going first. We'll ink our Stitch. Land everyone's favorite dog and pass the turn. Ramping for success. Simba. Alright, so our opponent is playing... Okay, Amber Steel Songs. Let's ink our Benja. We can land Cinderella, and we'll get rid of one of our whole new worlds. Let's pass the turn back. Having two whole new worlds isn't the most useful thing, so let's make use of Cinderella's draw one, discard one ability. Get rid of one for, I was going to say an inkable card, but Sheriff of Nottingham is better than nothing. But is it better than Ham? That's the question. Important quest with Cinderella and brings out Simba to the ink. I was really thinking that there'd be a bodyguard for the ballroom dancer. And there is. Kida. I think I have to ink the Bare Necessities here. Or did I just ink Cinderella past the turn? Yeah, I think inking Cinderella passing the turn makes more sense. Inking Rapunzel, I mean. Alright. And next turn we send the Bare Necessities to ink as a guarantee. Shift Cinderella, sing a whole new world. Sounds like a plan. Alright. That's our plan. That's what we're going with. The good old ink and pass. Almost sounds like a German word. The ink and pass. What's our opponent going to do? Only our opponent will know. Well, we'll know soon, I guess. Inking a Jafar. Strength of Raging Fire. Big spell to take out a small dog. The opponent's right to be fearful of Pluto. He was the linchpin of our strategy. When just-in-time beast. The just-in-time beast is a bit disappointing. Let's ink Pluto and land the Sheriff. Opponent is in Whole New World Singing Land, which I don't mind. I'd almost prefer our opponent singing it. Have one character in the discard pile. I was hoping for more. Honestly, this isn't the most impressive number of cards I've had in the discard pile using this deck. That's gonna happen. Oh, Piglet! Nice little inclusion there. And grab your sword. Wipes out our Cinderella. Which is a problem. Find another one. Display Cinderella. Find another Sheriff of Nottingham. I'll throw away this one. And we get a ping from the Sheriff. I'll target Piglet. This Piglet's a 3-quester in the right situation. Bare Necessities is mostly useless because our opponent has no hand. So I'll pass the turn back. Piglet's an interesting card, especially for aggressive styles of deck. I'm not sure if our opponent's deck fits in the aggressive style. We're getting pummeled a bit in terms of lore, so maybe it does. It's all about to change. When we Cinderella next turn, and plan is no longer the whole new world. Ooh! Big Kita. So everything gets -3. Alright, so the question is, do I play Cinderella or do I play Tinkerbell? Tinkerbell does deal with Piglet. The resist 2 is pretty good. And the shift Cinderella, I can keep Tinkerbell for next turn. I think I prefer that. Let's go. Shifting Cinderella. And Cinderella, well, that's a bug. She should have 2 power. Is going to take out Piglet. Again, I'm assuming she has 2 power. And we'll pass the turn back to our opponent. That's still a lot of questing power. Opponent finds a whole new world. Do you sing it? That's the question. Opponent does not sing it. I need to double check on Cinderella's ability. Whenever you play a song, you may challenge a ready character. Alright, so we don't need to sing it. So we're going to ink our Tinkerbell and just flat out land a whole new world. We discard 1, so Sheriff of Nottingham is going to trigger. We get to ping something for 1. Let's ping Cinderella. Can also land a small Stitch. And we can take out Kita for almost free, thanks to Cinderella's ability to challenge ready characters whenever she sings. And I want to keep my Sheriff alive. Cinderella Stouthearted. Still a tough cookie to crack. Now, if the opponent could sing another whole new world, we'd be golden. Opponent sings Grab Your Sword, which is not nearly as good for us. One could even say it's bad for our board state, seeing as we've lost it all, except for Cinderella. Opponent brings in another Kita just in time. Opponent's very low on lore. I'm not sure that's going to matter. That's a lot of Cinderellas. There's probably a big dance coming up. Strength from Raging Fire gets rid of our Cinderella. And that's about it. So we're not playing copies of Grab Your Sword. Well, let's see what Simba finds. Finds a Sheriff. Sheriff is good, but not enough. We need to deal immediately with the board presence. I'll send the Sheriff since he's good at not doing stuff based on Robin Hood lore, then not doing stuff is what we need, right? It's the best we can do right now, as we're going to lose the game. And in front of Kita doing some pretty good work. And really just our lack of characters overall. And our opponent playing an Amber Steel Song's aggro variant, which was quite interesting to play against. Good game, opponent. Good game. We are playing against Steel Amethyst. Potentially a Jafar combo deck. We'll see, we'll see. Let's not put our opponent on deck before we've seen them play a card. Have a bit too many high-costed characters here. Let's send away the Rapunzels. Steel Amethyst. Yeah, that seems alright. We find Stitch Rockstar, Simba, and Pluto. Interesting pickups. Let's send Cinderella away and open up with Stitch Boy. Going with Rockstar plan. What could go wrong? Actually, we have to worry about Grab Your Sword that our opponent could be playing. And that's about it if we're going wide. Madman Fox goes to the ink, and Olaf takes the field on the battlefield. We find Cinderella. Feels like an opportune time to play Cinderella, play a bit of board presence. I mean, I'm telegraphing that I'm holding another Stitch Rockstar, but I'll discard one. And I'll pass the turn. Opponent quests with Olaf. Is there Min Snake coming in? No, Pinocchio. Alright, opponent's going heavy on the aggro strategy. On this turn, we're going to ink a Stitch. And just hold back on our other characters. Take the hit from Pinocchio, as I'm fully expecting Pinocchio to quest and Madman Fox probably to take its place. I clearly would do the same thing, right? Pinocchio, wood puppet. Ooh, second Pinocchio comes in. I mean, you can't really quest. Just some Pinocchios. That's a lot of lore, potentially, for our opponent. We're going to ink a Pluto, since Pluto is not really in a line of cards we're going to be playing. And we'll shift. Big Stitch coming in. You can take out Olaf with Stitch, but then Madman Fox would be able to trade. I really don't want that. Then again, if Olaf and Fox... If a Madman Fox comes in, that's our opponent's turn, which means that the rest can't really quest very well. No, still hold. Hold the fort. Also, Tinkerbell is devastating here for our opponent. That's resolving a few more threats like that Simba. Okay, I can't really call Simba a threat, but you know what I mean. Simba can deal with either any of the Pinocchios or the Maleficent, as long as the opponent doesn't one turn quest us into oblivion. Alright, well, here comes the one turn mega quest from our opponent. Double Pinocchio, Maleficent, 8, 9 with the Olaf. Youch. It's a lot of lore. Opponent goes Bunny. Merlin Rabbit comes in. Alright, our turn. Let's go Simba. We'll make use of Stitch first. Draw a card, Bare Necessities. Then Simba, draw a discard. Discard a whole new world. Not really in the game plan of massive card draw. Let's play another Simba. Stitch trigger, picking up another Stitch. Simba triggers, picking up a Rapunzel. Rapunzel's a little too expensive here. Keep on with the Stitch Rockstar abilities. Picking up a Tinkerbell. Oh, considering the ink we have left, we can ink a Tinkerbell. And let's go see what our opponent has. A Min Fox and a pair of Merlins. Alright. Bare Necessities didn't really do the trick. That's alright. We'll take out the Pinocchios. Get ourselves a wider board presence. Of course, Tinkerbell would have wiped out those Pinocchios next turn, but I just can't afford the +6, 7, 8, 9, 10 lore that the opponent would gain off of it. So I have to take it out. Should highlight Mr. Rockstar around here. Just giving us 3 cards. Have 2 characters in our discard. Bunch on the battlefield. Ready for Chernabog. Ooh, opponent challenges with Olaf. Maleficent goes to Quest. And Min Fox bounces Maleficent. Alright. Min Fox takes out our Rockstar. And Bunny goes after our pseudo Bunny, if you can call it that, when Maleficent is the perfect setup for Miss Tinkerbell. It's going to come down and wreck our opponent's party. Boom. And that's how you nuke the board. We're still quite far behind in terms of lore. So it's time our future kings start getting us back into this game. It's all about keeping that last Tinkerbell to wipe out more Maleficents. Opponent goes Big Beast. So our opponent's hand still has 2 bunnies. So there's not too much threatening things going on there. I think I want to land Huntsman. Definitely want to quest with everyone. That's step 1. But do I ping the beast to prevent the card draw? No, I think I go Huntsman here. That way if beast goes exerted, I can ping it with Tinkerbell, use Tinkerbell's ability off of the combat to deal more damage. Beast only gets the attack boost on the offense. So I think that that's the wise decision. More worried about board presence and lore count than card advantage at this point. Since we should have the dominating presence on the board, opponent befuddles our Huntsman. Wasn't expecting that. Beast, Tragic Hero. Start of your turn. And we find ourselves with another whole new world. Alright, well, let's clean the board. So Tinkerbell, go in, ping our opponent's character. Our own Tinkerbell can take out the beast, ping the bunny, and we might need a bit more lore for that next turn. So I think Huntsman's going to go to the ink pool. And our future kings are going to keep on questing. Win condition right there, Simba. Another bunny. Trying to overwhelm us with card advantage. Strength for Raging Fire to the ink. And the Vanilla Tiana. We have a Chernabog. Feels like it's worth playing here. Chernabog. And then 2, 4, 5, 6 go to 14. With Threatening Presence next turn. Opponent can quest for 2. There's goats, but I mean, opponent on 7. I think we just quest. Let the top deck Chernabog close out the game. Should highlight Chernabog again. Actually, I should probably highlight Simba, Future King, because these little Simbas have gone a long way. Oh yeah, they're alphabetical. Scrolled all the way down. Turns out Chernabog was right there. Alright. Bunny takes out our Tinkerbell. Still holding for questing for 7. Opponent needs an answer. The diligent waitress here just isn't enough to deal with our board. There's one goat. And the Pinocchio, but that's not enough. This was really more a Tinkerbell highlight, but we got a Chernabog in. Opponent bounces Tiana, sends her back. Could have taken us down a bit. Actually, if the opponent would have challenged a Simba instead of befuddling their own character, befuddle a Simba, I think our opponent could have kept us down to 5. Oh well, it was a close game. We managed to come back with Stitch Rockstar, control the board presence just enough with our Tinkerbells, and take the win. And that was a pretty good game. We're playing against Steel Amethyst, using our Chernabog list. Bare Necessities, Rapunzel, Stitch. Second Bare Necessities, Cinderella, Rapunzel, Tinkerbell. Few too many Rapunzel, and a bit more than Bare Necessities, so I'll send one of each back into our deck. Find ourselves a Simba, and a second Tinkerbell. Not the best opening. Ooh, opponent goes Chernabog's Follower. Whenever a character quests, you may banish it and draw a card. It's a fair statement for a Chernabog deck. Oh yes, we need to ink first. Ink a Stitch. Go Simba. When we find a Rockstar. Let's throw away a Tinkerbell for now. Then I'll pass the turn. Is this a Chernabog mirror match? That would be entertaining. Chernabog's Followers, as I just realized that our opponent's not playing Amber, so it's definitely not a Chernabog mirror match. Chernabog's Follower just decides to go for one lore, draw a card, replace itself with another Chernabog off the top of the deck, which makes you wonder, what did you actually accomplish? Ink a Rapunzel. And Amethyst Steel. Let's cast our Bare Necessities. Ooh, we find a Queen's Castle. Nice hit with Bare Necessities, and we know our opponent's holding double Cinderella, double Hercules. Queen's Castle would have been the one more troublesome card their opponent has. Opponent goes for Hercules. Doesn't bodyguard the Chernabog Followers. Oh, yes, because it's going to sacrifice it. We're going to pass on the Huntsman and land Miss Tinkerbell. Second Herc. Chernabog's followers. And opponent sings friends on the other side. We don't need that Bare Necessities. The one Thoughtseize was good enough, but that shifted Tinkerbell. Candy. Pings everything for one. Goodbye, Chernabog. I'll get challenged as Hercules and off of the ping. Take out the second one from Hero to Zero. That's the name of this song. And Simba will quest for one. I mean, we've gotten good cards with Rise of the Floodborn. We've gotten better cards with Into the Inkland. But Tinkerbell still does stuff. She's still pulling her weight. I mean, it's a fairy, so she's probably not that heavy. Although at that size, she must have some kind of weight. Although, I have to be careful. Careful what I say about Tinkerbell. Opponent resolves a Cinderella, draws, and discards. We have two cards, only one character in the ink. Friends on the other side, and Rapunzel comes in. And that's just disgusting. We fully heal our Tinkerbell, draw a mid full of cards. And we can quest with boat. This is a point in the game where I think it'd be difficult for us to lose. Tinkerbell play did a lot of damage. Ooh, opponent was playing Titans. As Hades comes in. Hades, Lord of the Titans. There's this card. There it is. Ready your Titan character. Make sure you're ready for the attack of the Titan. On Titan? Same thing? Completely different? Tell me. This thing's 5/5. Can still quest with Tinkerbell. And I'll land a Stitch Rockstar. So why not? What's the worst that your opponent can do? Never ask that question. Actually, always ask that question so you're prepared. Always have to be prepared. But in this case, I have to make sure opponent doesn't grab their sword to just tickle our board. Opponent would need triple grab your sword. But then be 3 cards, and it really wouldn't be that much worth it, and the opponent can't cast them all. So we're sitting good. We're sitting good. There's one grab your sword. Is there a double grab your sword? There's a smash. Alright, alright. Opponent has some back play here. And we find ourselves another Rapunzel. I don't really need the Stitch Rockstar. I think you can just use it as a beater. Now let's start by drawing some cards. Let's heal Stitch, draw 2. Find ourselves a useless Pluto. So we'll ink a Huntsman. Oh, it's not useless. We can draw a card. We still have a Rockstar. Bare Necessities. I mean, I have nothing else to play. So, what do you got? Queen's Castle? Please say bye-bye, dear opponent. And we can quest with our characters. We're starting to be in dangerous territory from an opponent's perspective. This time it's Miss Rapunzel just shining brightly. As the card opponent just played kind of looks like a dummy. That's where I need to highlight the card to really show it. The training dummy. On this board, we go to deal some damage to Hades, deal some damage to Cinderella, and set ourselves up for another Tinkerbell. Tinkerbell goodness. And there's no real reason to rush things. Let's ink our little Simba. Get ourselves ready to land the Cinderella. Opponent finds another Hades. It's a big pickup. Conquest for 4, go to 16. I think just landing a Cinderella is a more solid play here. Now let's just pass the turn. It's a classic case of when you're ahead, try to get more ahead, and eventually the opponent will just concede. It's also good to close out the game, but in this case, I mean, the opponent did concede pretty quickly on the face of Cinderella. That was, well, when faced with Cinderella, Tinkerbell, and the opponent has a pair of cards in hand, I fully understand it. It was a great game. The game was pretty much over depending on what the opponent drew, and yeah, good game, fun game. Tinkerbell, Rapunzel, Tinkerbell, Rapunzel. Still doing awesome stuff. I hope that you've enjoyed this video featuring Chernabog and Sheriff of Nottingham. Seen some good Chernabog drops having an impact in Game 1. We've seen the Sheriff of Nottingham just pinging like a madman in Game 2. That was particularly fun. And just some nice, solid gameplay in general, with some of the powerful threats showing that they're still very powerful threats, like Tinkerbell, Rapunzel. Cinderella is still doing good stuff. I've been a little disappointed with friendly Pooch. Tends to die quite a lot and not give us as much of a lead that I anticipated. Maybe with stronger characters, maybe with a Madam than Fox, turn 2 Fox, for example. Pluto might have better homes, but it's not as splashable as I had thought. Bare Necessities did a decent job, especially when it hit. This might not be the best home for it, though, as the deck tends to run out of cards fairly fast, because we're playing a lot of the 1-drops and losing a lot of them. Simba and Pluto are fairly weak turn 1 plays, although they did a good job in the deck. Getting to Chernabog felt quite feasible. The draw discard wasn't as helpful as I expected, but it was still pretty cool. It did feed our discard pile with a couple of extra characters, which made all the difference. But maybe Chernabog is just a decent 1 of or 2 of index that are playing Cinderella. That'll be their purposes, just a late game cheap threat. Play a couple of whole new worlds to feed your discard, and just let your characters naturally go there through the course of their Lorcana lifetime. All that to say, I hope you've had a great time, enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments below which archetype you'd like to see next. I hope you've had a great time and enjoy the rest of your day. Don't forget to give me a like, and I'll see you next time.